So there are a couple of different ways to think about the world we live in. And there are two worlds for this example. One is the natural world, which there's no way you can not be in it. We're all made out of carbon. We're all stardust. The sun, the moon, the earth, the elements, there's no denying them, and we're part of them. Then there's the human world. So, how to be in the world, but not of the world. Now, Dan, I think in his talk on Sunday, talked about attachment. And that, of course, is what we're talking about. Because our human world is constantly bombarding us with information and trying to steal our attention in one form or another. Now, this practice that we do, the understanding or wisdom that is gained from this practice, it can be referred to as suchness or non-duality. So another way of talking about it is the non-discriminating mind. The non-discriminating mind and non-attachment, are they different or the same? So why would we want to be in the world but not of the world? What does it mean to be of the world? So what do we do with that? So the reason I bring up non-discrimination is because if you discriminate, you say, oh, that person over there, he's deluded. Now you've created a duality. And you're just as deluded as the person you're calling deluded. So that's not the answer. So making things right and wrong is not the answer to being in the world, but not of the world. I think what we have to do, each one of us individually, is we have to really get to know who we are, actually. And from that place, you're untouchable. You're the hero in your own world, your own life. And there's nothing you need to do to protect yourself from the onslaught of the world. Because it's not real. And you see it. And yet, we talk about the Bodhisattva path. We don't sit and awaken to our original nature for our own benefit. We do this for everyone's benefit. This is very different from buying into this or buying into that, or trying to take a shortcut, or, trying to improve your ego satisfaction or your financial things by getting more clicks. It's dropping all that. I'm not saying not being involved. I'm not saying don't chop wood and carry water. Get clicks. I don't care. But the point is, don't become a cog in that wheel, because then you're lost. You're no longer sitting in the place of wisdom where your contribution is one that's doing no harm, altruistic, clear. We live in a world right now, particularly, that seems to be going in the direction of more and more untruths, more and more deluded views, more and more creations of non-reality. And there doesn't seem to be any respect for wisdom and what the truth really is. It's all about what is there to gain, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So, as over time, there has always been these periods where darkness seems to be the predominant theme. And what is darkness? It's the absence of light. So what are we doing when we're not attached, when we're not using discriminating mind? We're light. We're light. We're dispelling the darkness, not just for ourselves, but for everything we come in contact with. So it's just a matter of recognizing how important we actually are in a world that is full of darkness. Just being willing to be a light being in a world that's full of darkness. Just be willing. And how do you be willing? Not by being right. That willingness comes from not knowing, from not trying to be something, but from just actually being present without discriminating mind, without pressuring one way or another. So, the Heart Sutra talks about this in a unique way because it contradicts this idea of life and death, right and wrong, this and that. Very clearly, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. That seems to be a contradiction. How can form be empty? How can emptiness be form? Coming from the discriminating mind, it will never make sense. Never make sense. You'll never be able to put that together with your intellect. It'll not work. You have to drop it. So awakening is not getting somewhere. It's dropping your deluded views and just, here we are. Not just is there a difference between being in the world and of the world, but there's a difference between compassion and desire. There's a difference there in where it's coming from. Compassion doesn't have a source in you, I, me, mine. It doesn't have a source there. It is beyond that. It can come through I, me, and mine. It comes through as a experience in this physical form. But don't get attached to that because that's not really where it's coming from. So we assume that our experience, our emotions, our feelings, our attitudes, and all this is who we are. And every time we do that, make this assumption, we're a little bit further away from who we actually are. So don't know isn't just an idea. It isn't just a theory. It's the actual wisdom of just this, which transcends all these ideas of what is. So for several months now, ever since I think January of last year, I've been struggling with, well, what do we do? Because darkness seems to be building. Cruelty is building. Deluded views, more and more cults, more and more, sort of tribes who have gone online and just get to hear the same sort of propaganda shoved into their minds over and over again because of the algorithm is just pointing them where they think they should be. If they didn't know, the algorithm wouldn't have any control over them. So, yeah, we're all susceptible. I understand. So what? From the point of view of being in the world but not of the world, it's a position of just taking care of things the way they are without having to be right or wrong. Sweep the floor when it's dirty. When somebody is telling you a lie, saying, I'm sorry, that's not true. And let it go. Like I think about road rage. So how often does someone who thinks they're right get themselves into trouble? Follow down that road of anger, resentment, hostility, all that bad person, and then ends up in some sort of incident where somebody's pulling a gun out, shooting you. I mean, all of that doesn't have to happen that way. Doesn't have to happen. But it takes being in the world, but not of the world, for it not to happen. When you're in it, you're in it. We all know what that means. We all know what it means to be in it when we're in it. How many times a day are we in it? But you see, you can still be in it and not be of it. You see the difference there? It's what Dan was saying about the kind of attachment where that's what's happening. That's what happens in our meditation practice. We get to see ourselves. Oh, like Freddie said, oh, anger mind. Oh, emotional mind. Oh, and we see it. It's the acting from the place of being in it that you don't see it. So that's, this is just something that I've been thinking about. And it's just something that I've been, looking at. How am I going through the world? How am I going through the world right now? Especially around the holidays. I don't know about you guys, but for me, the holidays bring up a lot of history. They haven't always been great. There have been things that have happened, divorces, drunken fathers, I could go on and on, deaths and tragedies and things that happen around holidays. And all of this history is kind of there, percolating, unless we see it for what it is. And that takes an effort. It takes some effort to pay attention, as Dan so eloquently said. Pay attention. Everything changes. So yeah. So here we are. It's the holiday season. It's a good time to remember that we're in the world, but we're not of the world. Unless we're talking about nature. Then it's original nature. Why do you think forest bathing feels so good? None of that human shit. So anyway, I talk a lot, I know. Any comments, questions, thoughts about what I said? Very good. Well, thank you.